All right, welcome to the first episode of the Get to Know podcast. Today we have James Harris Jr., otherwise known as Undefeated Speaker. So James.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Thank you for having me. This is the first one.
Yeah, this is the first episode.
Okay, I feel really cool to be on the first one.
I feel nervous
and
excited at the same time. Maybe it's mostly excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the nervous telling you?
The nervous is telling me trying to be perfect in this moment instead of enjoying the moment. Yeah.
It's two bros hanging out.
Yeah.
Cackling, talking live. Whatever you got for me, I'm ready. I didn't know we were, I want to say I don't know. Whatever you got for me, I'm ready.
Okay. So who is the Undefeated Speaker?
Undefeated Speaker was actually just the brand.
Okay.
And we started out in 2017. It was an award that I gave away to my speech students because I decided I've got to celebrate them somehow. And some of the other teachers like, well, we're only going to give students this awards for best science and best math. And I was like, no, speech keeps getting overlooked. And I thought, what can I call them? And I thought, powerful speaker, something. I thought, undefeated speaker. And it just rolled. It rolled. And the idea was that everything they've been through in the class, as you know, there's a lot of different things. And the fact that they were willing to face everything, something they were good at, something they weren't, the challenge, the students that earned this Undefeated Speaker Award were literally undefeated to me because it wasn't about the grade, it was about their persistence to push through. And then I moved from an award in 2017 to having our first speech event called Comeback Season in 2018. And that was out of me getting a chance to do TEDx. And I was dumb inspired by TEDx. I thought, okay.
Yeah, this is where we get to go.
Yeah, this is where I get to go. We participated in one in September 2018 and November 2018. We had our very first Undefeated Speaker event called Comeback Season. We had about 90 people. And it's taken different forms. We've done community service events, we've done workshops, done trainings, done events, done suicide awareness things, done music. And at some point, probably around 2020, I became Undefeated Speaker because I wasn't at the school and it was me in Dallas by myself. And I kind of took on the moniker. Now it's coming back again where Undefeated Speaker is the platform and then James Harris Jr. is the guy.
Yeah. Who do you get to be as the Undefeated Speaker for others?
Bold, confident, motivational, encouraging, loving, joyful. To me, what it means to be an Undefeated Speaker is that everything that I've been through in my life has happened for me, not to me, that I'm not a victim, I'm a victor, that there's a calling on my life that I'm not just getting up in front of people, but it's an assignment.
Yeah.
Every time I speak to people, it's an assignment.
Like you get to dive in 100% from now
all the
on,
way,
right?
Undefeated.
Yeah.
I'm undefeated from doubt. I'm undefeated from shame and guilt. Those things, they didn't stop me.
Let's talk about how you've taken that into the classroom, right? Deshaun, our buddy, one of his favorite lines that you said, you can go ahead and...
I'm coming for your anxiety.
Yeah. When I heard that in the classroom, I went, oh, shit. I am so scared of what this class is going to take out of me, right? Because when you showed us like an example of a speech too, I went, I don't know if I can do this. And I remember looking around in the classroom and seeing it. I wasn't the only one uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, how is this class allowed? Right? It was my nerd. I was like, how is this class allowed to be here? Right? But then as we got into it, I was like, oh my God, the exercises we're doing, I'm doing things and opening myself up more than I would have ever done before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to ask, where did the spark happen? Where did the idea happen between creating those ideas for the classroom and then also like how it ignited doing it outside of the classroom too? Yeah,
I always tell myself, how far am I willing to go? You're right. So there are some things in the class that are like, wait, what? What are we? But to me, I'm willing to be whoever I need to be for you to have your breakthrough, for you to have your belief. Anybody can teach you to publicly speak.
Oh yeah.
Anybody can do that. We could just take books and things, but the goal of the class is teaching you to believe in yourself, that you're worthy, that you have something to say, that not even just having something to say, the practice of saying it, but believing I'm the one to say it. That's the biggest thing. How can I believe that I'm the one to say these things?
What's that fact you would always remind us every day in class? I think it was just like I think the second biggest fear other than death is public speaking.
More people are afraid of public speaking than they are dying.
Oh.
Which baffles me.
See, I still don't believe it in the back of my mind, but then now that I've seen it, right, it's so uncomfortable that like somebody would rather like
I'd rather die.
Yeah. Somebody would rather go jump off a cliff with adrenaline than have to talk to a group of 20 people or
that
more.
baffles me. It baffles me and it makes me sad.
Yeah.
That I would rather. I told one group, I said, you're telling me you'd rather give your life away than give your life to others. Write that down.
Yes, write that down.
I mean, if I kill myself, if I die, I'm giving my life away.
Right.
But if I publicly speak, then I can give my life to others, to stand up for bullying, to stand up for social injustice, to stand up for domestic violence or sexual assault, to stand up for sex trafficking. We're here in San Antonio. There's a lot happening behind the scenes that is unfair, unright. And who am I not to speak? Who am I not to speak up for immigration, all the things that are happening? Who am I not to speak up? And you're saying I would rather die than that.
Yeah, it's kind of like, where else in your life, right, that you take the easy route, but then you would always tell me like, well, diamonds don't come out of nothing. You know? Like, they're under constant pressure.
Yeah.
Right? A diamond doesn't come from coal for no reason. It comes from coal because it was just constantly pushed on, right? And then where do you take like the easiest decisions in your life?
Yeah.
Like where do you just roll over and let somebody take the keys? And you saw that in me, and I was very, very fortunate to have you see that in me.
Yeah,
right?
I think you don't give yourself enough credit, because there was that first day you were all up in my face with your looking good conversation. You're
I
like,
was.
oh, hi, and I love this, and I'm this, and I said, okay, we're gonna see.
Yeah, and then like after the first speech, boom, plane crash, right? Like you would tell me, Roman, you gotta take off the plane, have a good cruise at peak, and then you gotta land it nicely. Every time I would get to the peak,
yeah, I think you would start really well, and then get there, and that's why.
It's like playing the 50% game. Like where else do I play 50% in my life, right? Where I show up bold and confident, but not authentic, right? Since I didn't show up authentic, of course, I wasn't prepared to give that speech, right? I wasn't 100. I remember standing on top of the chair thinking I was doing something big and then completely losing it because I had lack of trust in myself and I knew that I wasn't being fully like present with it.
Has your relationship with being authentic changed over the years, or changed over the semester, really?
Yeah. It honestly started the semester before during my government class. To be able to show that level of vulnerability and show up as a leader during that government class, and then during my first sociology class, and that English class was another, like, it was like I was born a leader, but I didn't take advantage of it, and I didn't accept it, and I was super hard on myself to the point where I was like, I don't deserve to be in that spot of leadership. And then your class just amplified it.
Yeah.
Like it was like taking the amp and cranking it up to 11.
All the way.
Yeah.
I must say all the way probably 100 times a week now.
Yeah. And that's where it got to go. And then I noticed that when I show up, all the way cranked up, then also other students in the classroom did the same thing. And there was two people that I made best friends with that before, honestly, in a class, I would have never talked to them. And now I know I can depend on them all the time. And it's just, it's kind of, ground shaking, because before I wouldn't have been there.
That's the whole purpose of the class. It's not that the whole purpose, but that's one of the benefits.
Yeah.
Is the relationships, the community building, the people who I would have never been able to talk to, and now got two great friends out of it.
Yeah.
Probably, and I wonder how many people you made an impact on that never told you.
Oh, I remember you did an exercise where it was just like, I want y'all to go to the strongest person in the class, right? And I think like everybody I don't know if it was strongest.
Strongest leader, strongest speaker.
Oh, strongest leader. And then everybody stood around me, and I didn't accept it. I remember I was like, nah, I don't believe
Yeah.
this. Like all these kids that don't even know me yet, right? There's no way that they really think that of me, right? And then you asked me to like, what does that feedback tell you? And I was like, that I have people that believe in me. And it's funny because like most of my life, I've always had this entire village of support, but it took this uncomfortable way of being, right, to show me that I've had that right in front of me.
It was always in you. Yeah.
The entire time.
That's so good.
Yeah. And I love how you're taking that outside of the classroom too. You know, with Supercharge. Tell me a little bit about that.
Supercharge is an 8-week online course that people can sign up for, enroll into, and I work with them on verbal fillers, vocal variety, how to start a speech powerfully, how to land the plane, how to engage the audience, how to use visuals, how to create deeper meaning, how to find their unique style. And we go over all of it. It's really cool. Yeah. I've had some people enroll already, going up, but it's open enrollment. When a person enrolls, we work on dates and times, and then we meet on Zoom, and we start to break through the barriers. We start to crack through the limiting beliefs, and we start to literally supercharge their own confidence, their own believability in themselves.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a public speaker. It's actually probably better, but it's for anybody at any level who just says, I know I was designed for more.
Yeah, the supercharger. It's in the name, right? Like, imagine what you can do with a supercharger to that engine.
Yeah. That whatever kind of car it is, you add that into that engine to the heart.
Yeah.
And look at what it can do.
Bigger roar.
And so some people will say, well, I'm only this or I'm only that or that only conversation. But we give you the right tools. We give you the right injection of power. Whew. What is possible?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we're up to. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's get deep.
Okay, let's go.
Where did this phenomenal spark begin? Because for me, it was the uncomfortable section was this past 2 semesters, right? And then I enrolled because you being my angel for the Atlas Leadership Project. Honestly, this past year has been the biggest growth I've ever seen in my entire life.
Since January, you're not even the same person.
No,
it's really cool.
It's wild,
cool,
right? So for you, where was yours? What was your story?
I'll say that I got kicked out of Los Angeles. Sometimes I tell this story before. Was doing music and comedy, and then at some point ran out of resources. Was let go from a job. Wasn't having the things that I wanted, and moved back home. I had to beg my mom for $300 to move back home, and I see it now. I had people who loved me. They would have let me sleep on their couch. They would have made it work. There's plenty of opportunity. There's plenty of things I didn't have to go home, but that pride was like, I can't let anybody know. I can't tell anybody. I can't ask him for anybody. That's the transactionalness. I would have let any of those people, I would have let them sleep on my couch. But I decided that, I can't ask. And I slipped away back to Dallas. My mom was going through surgery on her L5, L6 vertebrae. And watching her in pain every day. And this nerd was like, this is your life, James. You got kicked out of Los Angeles. You didn't make it. You're the guy that moved home. The failure to launch, and now you're living with mom, you're taking care of mom, and I would literally take her to appointment after appointment every day, and I would hear her wail out in pain because their doctors are trying to figure out where the pain's coming from and then this and that, and I'm literally in the waiting room, and I can hear her at 6 a.m. wailing, and she's the strongest person I know, so I can only imagine how intense that pain is, and I remember sitting there thinking, this is my life. This is my life. And I don't even know, I don't have a plan, I don't have a job. I have no idea, I just know I'm taking care of her. And there was a level of digging in on, this is what you deserve, James. You really thought you were going to go out to Los Angeles and chase a dream? When all of that was for, like, having the book, having a song on the radio, performing all these comedy clubs, all the things I've done, writing books, all that brought me right back there. And I thought, what was even the point if I was going to be here taking care of my mom? At some point, she gets better that summer, and she comes up the steps. I'm applying for jobs, and she never comes upstairs. Never comes upstairs. And I go out, I say, Mom's everything okay? She has this look on her face, and she faints. And I catch her, she's right where the banister is, so she would have fallen over. I catch her, and she kind of comes back to, and I was like, Mom, and I don't know, I haven't called 911 before. Well, when I was a kid, when I wasn't supposed to. But I never called, I'm calling, I don't know, she's passed out, this and that. Fire department people come, and I guess she was super dehydrated. When she fell, and I caught her before it got wild, my life flashed before me, and I thought, how selfish I've been. This voice was like, can you see how selfish you've been? That if I would have made it in LA the way I wanted to, if I would have been successful the way I wanted to, she was always gonna need surgery, she was always gonna come up those steps, she was always gonna faint and fall. Like, it was a nexus, like that's always going to happen, and had I been successful, she would have been paralyzed, because no one would have been at the house to hold her, to catch her. And it was in that moment I realized how selfish I'd been playing. I've been playing a selfish game, a small game of just whatever I can get. Me. And it was that moment I decided I get to tell people my story of detour versus destination. That LA, I love Los Angeles, I love the friends I made. That was a detour. That's not the final thing. And moving back to Dallas, that was another detour. I was thinking, I'm stuck here, but that was another detour. And when I had to learn it myself, that way I could teach my students, because sometimes when people come to community college, they're thinking, oh, well, this didn't work out. You're on a detour. You're actually on a detour, still getting to where you want to go. And when you get to that college, that's a detour, because that's not the final thing. You have grad school, or you have a job, or you have a family, or whatever. I decided, okay, I get to start telling people this story. I hadn't really spoken in a long time. And then I taught at a college, and they had chapel. And they said, oh, James, we want you to do chapel. No, you don't understand. I've lived a terrible life. I can't be in nobody's chapel.
You're telling me that's how you reacted?
I did, because my dad's a pastor, and I resented being like a preacher's kid. I was like, no, you're going to be a preacher like that? No. I told God no.
You know what's so ironic about that is you're one of the biggest preachers in the world right now.
It's funny to say that I told God no. Like, that's a very funny way or very weird way to start a story.
What?
I was like, no, I told God, I was like, I don't know what you have for me, but I'm not doing that. And my whole life, since a kid, I would watch my dad speak. I grew up watching pastors. I grew up loving how they could tell stories and make people cry, and how they could get people, yeah, and they could do all that. I watched that, and I would critique preachers as early as probably 7th grade. I'd be back in the back watching and saying, no, this isn't going to be a good one. Oh, this guy's got it. Yeah. And I would look at how they would do things, and they had me speak at chapel. I don't want to tell anybody, because at this school, they don't know that I got kicked out of Los Angeles. They don't know that it didn't work. They didn't know that my mom was in surgery. They didn't know all of these intimate parts that I didn't want to share.
Yeah, the looking good.
The looking good was there. Oh, I can't let them know. And they liked me, but that was because I would have the mask up. And at 3 a.m. the night before, I woke up, and this voice was saying, if you don't tell someone your story, their life will be forever negatively impacted. I said, well, who? It doesn't matter who. You need to tell your truth and say the thing. And I mustered all the confidence in me. And I remember they usually speak from a pulpit, a podium. Yeah. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
You're like,
I'm not going to do that. But they had these steps, these big steps leading down. And I said, I'm going to change this all the way up. I took the microphone, and I sat on the steps, and I told my story. And my sister's in the front. She's teaching me at the school, teaching me with me at the school. She's there in the front holding a camera, and I didn't even see the camera till the very end, but I'm going and saying all the things, and I'm nervous, but I'm doing it. And after I'm done, I see her. Oh, you're here. Yeah. And I give her a big hug, and she's crying. She said, James, I hope you can see what you're supposed to be doing with your life now. She said, I'm sorry that LA didn't work out the way you wanted it to, but this is your purpose. She said, I hope you can see it. I hope you can see it. And I remember before she told me that, I was like, I want this feeling all the time. Whatever this is, I don't know. I didn't really know, but I this feeling of encouraging people, of risking the looking good conversation. I want this feeling forever. And then to hear my sister say the same thing was instant confirmation.
Oh, it's like,
this is what I'm supposed to be doing in my life.
This is James Harris Jr.
Yeah.
Not like to box you in, but this is James Harris Jr.
Yeah, all of it. Because I see now that LA was a pit stop.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about music and recording, which I then use later on. I learned about one-on-one relationships and some of the sales jobs I had. I learned about being able to perform. And then later on, the difference between performing and being performative. Yeah. And that took a little bit of growth.
That's a lot. Okay.
But I keep seeing that it's been a journey.
Yeah. The entire thing is this amazing journey. Yeah. Like, imagine how many lives you're going to impact just by sharing your story today on this podcast, right? Like, people are going to hear that and know that they're not alone. And that's where we get to go in this world. That's where we get to create the generational healing we've all been looking for, right? We're not alone. Yeah. I mean, we live in a world of constant scrolling, right?
Yeah, isolation.
Yeah.
But to feel seen, feel heard. I see that's what I really wanted this whole time. When I was going to other things, what I really wanted is to feel seen and heard and valued and appreciated.
Yeah. Like the lone wolf idea. That's such a heavy story that anybody can take.
I guess I got to do it by myself.
Yeah, but you don't. Yeah. You don't have to.
You don't have to.
No. It's like the story in that book I told you about with the Navy SEALs, right? You know, you got to carry this raft with you throughout BUD/S training, but it's not just you. You got a team of, I don't know if it was like 7 guys or something like that, right? But if somebody was sick, hurt, just extremely tired, right, had to do something that the rest of the team didn't, the rest of the team would pick up that person's slack. And it's just because they were willing to get the help. They were willing to have that extra hand.
Yeah. That's why I'm glad I met you.
Yeah.
Because I feel that was having you kind of be in the class, having you through Atlas.
Yeah.
And us filming stuff, it's been a really cool broship because it's like I see the void that I was missing in my life of genuine friendships and connections, and I was really great on stage, but off stage, my relationships and friendships were in shambles.
Again, performative.
Yeah. I want you to only look at this. Look at how good, look at how talented I am.
Yeah.
But then behind it, it's like, James, you're falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, people, they ask me about pro golf all the time, right? And it's like the looking good conversation comes up where it's just like, yeah, I'm still playing, right? But then the true story is like, I'm having to get sponsors right now for next season, and it's very fucking hard. Like, going there is so extremely hard. Being able to be vulnerable with people that I need help to play, extremely hard.
What pushes you through all of that, like to keep showing up?
Now that I see all the support that I have, now that I see that I do get to believe in that dream that I have for myself. Before, I used to think like, okay, you know, people don't believe in it, I'm going to stop. I used to think, oh, I don't look good, so I'm not going to do any more. But I deserve that for myself, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, like I'm still flabbergasted by how much I've grown and how much vulnerability I've shown to be able to take the big step forward, the confident step, right? Like, it's amazing, like, our friendship that has come out of it. Like, we have a brothership now. Yeah. Right? Like, he went from being a professor, right? To a professor to one of my best friends. Like that's
That doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And I wasn't even expecting that. You were a high performer in the class.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, cool, this guy's got some potential. And it kind of stayed there until there was one class I saw an opening and you were pouring out your heart to the class, and I thought, this guy gets to go.
Oh.
This guy gets to go. And I happened to talk to you about Ellis. I didn't know where it was gonna go.
Yeah.
And then we talked for 4 hours.
I think it was a story with my mom.
Wanting her to see her own value.
Yeah. I think it was a story with my mom, actually. Because I remember opening up about that, and I was like, man, I would never tell that to even like 2 people, let alone a classroom. And when I did it, I was like, there's this power in me that I've never felt before, or it's always been there.
Yeah.
And now I'm acknowledging it.
That's so good. That's why I love teaching the class this way. It is unorthodox. It is unapologetic.
It is extremely unapologetic.
Yeah, uncomfortable,
Okay.
unreasonable. But then, look at what you're able to accomplish.
Yeah.
Wow, I said something about dad or mom or sister or cousin, or I said something about myself that has been weighing on me, and now, my goodness, I feel free. I can say anything. And it's not about the speaking, it's about the who I believe myself to be.
I do have to say, if you are somebody in the San Antonio area and you want to be a part of this unstoppable movement, go and enroll in James Harris Jr.'s class here at Palo Alto, because it is life-changing. And I've noticed that with your class, also students are interacting outside with other students more. This is a beautiful campus and all, but I've always felt the energy, the student life has always been closed off.
Very low. Yeah.
And I realized, like, the kids that would come out of your class, they'd go about their day and start conversations with other students, and that's where their hearts are opening up. And I was like, man.
It's ripple effect.
Yeah. Shoot, I remember going with Jennifer and Juliana just to go to the cafe, right? And we did some exercise that opened up something different in me. I smiled bigger than I've ever smiled before ordering my food. And then the lady that makes the food and brings the snacks together, she was like, you have a great day, young man. And then talks to the other kids with a giant smile, and those kids start smiling.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa, the whole cafe is changing.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird.
Let's go all the way. That's so cool.
And like, I guess I said weird because like the norm here is quiet, composed, stick to yourself. But that doesn't get anywhere.
Yeah.
That's cookie cutter. That's filling the check boxes off, right?
Wall. We don't get any points for having the wall.
No, transactional interactions. And it's so heartbreaking to see children, like, especially, like, I know I'm saying children, we're out of college, right? But like, we're all in development here, right? Even the professors and the faculty, we're all in development for a better community. Yeah. And yet we play this small game, and we could play it at a bigger level.
Yeah. That's what it's been interesting here. So what I can say is that sometimes I'll pick up the victim card and like, well, they won't let me do this and they won't let me do that, and they. And also, how is it on me? How can I be radically responsible to be the one to go first, to change lives, to inspire people? Like, how can I put it back on me?
Your class is becoming the bright light this campus needs.
Wow.
I do have to, I'm serious, I see it. Every time during that semester, I would say after the first week, because then, like, I remember the first week, there was a lot of kids. And then there was like 6 or 7 that dropped, right? Because it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and I tell people,
like, this is where the real, like the kids that like hear you, and then the kids that like 1 year, not the other year, like what they stick around, right?
Right.
Or like the ones that they don't know what not quitting looks like. Right? I remember one time, and it sat with me this entire time, and I use it all the time whenever I talk to people. Like, how many days are you going to go about living life like a light switch? Right? Like, okay, I guess I know what that means. And then when you actually hear it, you're like, damn, like, I haven't been there. I'm not 100% present with myself. And then it's like, well, I talk about love and I talk about wanting relationships, or I talk about wanting to be there for my family, but if I'm not there for myself, you're not there for anybody.
Yeah, that part.
Oh, that hit hard. I was like, he went there.
Yeah. I say stuff and I'm thinking, go for it. Say it.
Yeah.
And I'll say something and I'm, whew, and then people, and I can see the reaction of
Yeah.
There's a level of how dare I say
Yeah.
that? And I'm thinking, yeah, how dare I? How dare I not to say it? How dare I not call you forth when I see a leader in you?
How dare I not challenge those nerds you created?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember there was some stuff you said, and my old nerds would get in the way, and I'd be like, okay, this is getting out of hand, right? But then that's me, again, not playing 100%. That's me, like, protecting myself, playing the small ball.
And I'm willing to go there.
Yeah, and then when like, afterwards, I'd be like, shame on me, right? Here's this person that's making a phenomenal, monumental change, right? Especially in society. Like, how many more people's lives are gonna have to go by, get wasted, get hurt, right? And now you and other leaders get to come up and bring the community together. Oneness. That's the purpose of the world,
Yeah.
right? You're healing generations. I remember hearing some of the stories of the kids in my class, and I'd be like, that is a sad, sad story. And I can't believe that you're not standing up for yourself in the moments you need to the most.
When we've been pushed down.
Yeah.
When the people that are closest to me tell me I'm worth nothing, then it's, well, who am I to say it? Who am I to stand up for myself when the other people didn't believe in me? Yeah, it's I love this class, and I love it when I'll hear like you guys are going to hang out, or oh yeah, we went to Chili's the other day and we met and we were working on a group project, or we're in the group chat. I said, oh, you guys have a group chat? Yeah, we have a group chat and we're going, and that always makes me feel okay. There's community, even though I'm not a part of it.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's sparking it, that igniting it, the context.
So powerful, and that's so fulfilling, because that's true love. Like, you know, that's not like the image we create of love. Like, that's a way of being a loveful person, right? Loveful.
Oh, loveful.
Yeah, like you're not putting up the looking good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm there for my family. I'm there for my friends. I'm there for my community. No. When you're being that, then other people become that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I go to church with my friends that I made now in your class.
I know that was pretty cool. You know, yeah, we're going to church. I was like, all right, yeah.
We went to dinner, right? And I'm one of those people that, like, I can't just have guy friends and I can't just have girlfriends. Like, I have to, I gotta be a floater, okay?
Right.
Like,
gotta hang out with the crew.
If I'm too masculine, it feels weird. And if I'm too feminine, it feels very weird, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. But it was cool to be able to tell you, like, James, we just got done having dinner and we had some girl time. Like, that feels great. Yeah, because like, who else out there in the community feels like they need to have, you know, some girl time, or like have some true opening up of friendships and hear each other's struggles and communicate. And that's where we get to go to heal the world, right? Is when you open up about your problems, then you start to notice you're not alone in it.
There we go.
Right?
We just said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that we use it. So yeah, okay, I'm not alone. I get it. But what does that mean?
I know it's the just, right? It's the shrug the shoulders, throw it off to the side.
You're not alone. Whatever.
It's the 50%. It's the BS game that we're playing.
But when I realize I'm not alone means there's possibility. That means there's community.
Yeah.
It means that I'm not facing this thing alone. That it's only affecting me. Because there's this distance. I think that doubt, insecurity, shame, guilt keep us separate, because I feel shame. I'm not going to be around you. But if I was with you, there's a healing that happens. That you've got my back, I've got your back. I can share and get advice, or share and listen, or whatever. And there's a healing and restoration that happens in community that doesn't happen alone.
It's wild, right? I mean, understanding that as a human race, we are all we're all we got. We are. Right? And to create separation to create isolation between communities and certain people because of their sociological standards or their like it's disheartening because we come from a place of love and yet we create a place of pain.
And for what?
What's the purpose?
What is the actual purpose of division, of racism or sexism or classism, ism? Like what is the actual purpose? Who's benefiting from this? And we all are kind of in this system.
Like you said in your story, right? And you went, man, shame on me for being selfish.
Yeah.
Right? Like you said it. I was playing 50% and that was being selfish. And then now when you play 100%, look how selfless you are.
Yeah.
Look at all the people's lives you're changing. I remember, I think I brought it up to you, like your mom was practicing a call with somebody.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Like it was practice, okay? And she ended up changing that person's life.
That's my mom.
Yeah.
Out of practice.
Out of practice. No intention. And this lady goes, I need this.
I think about my mom a lot as a big hero.
Yeah.
We similarly have like this big affection for both our moms and so anytime I get a chance to brag on her or help her or whatever it is, I'm always like, okay, yeah, Mom, I got you. And I being able to be her speech coach when she was in Toastmasters or still is in Toastmasters, but I hadn't joined yet in 2020, but I decided to, and coaching her through it, and she said, oh, okay, you guys do this in your class? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, I need to take this class. And I was like, everybody gets to take this class.
Yeah, everybody does. I mean, we're creating unstoppable healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I when I'd hear it, the nerd in me would be like, I don't believe that. And then, like, when we brought community together, I went, oh my gosh. And then when I realized at the level that we brought it together, I was like, this is where we get to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody around us, right? For the most part, it's like they have their heart on a leash and they're walking around with it on a leash when really they can just clip it off. There's no state regulations. There's no rules.
There's no state regulations for the heart to have it leashed up, kenneled up. Wow, that's good. That's fire.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. I'm trying not to turn it casual. Like this is where we get to make that change for people's lives. Like there was an image of like you only know the tip of the iceberg,
right?
And like the true, and it's like where else am I doing that, right? Where all I have to do is look under the surface and show who I truly am, right? I look like this small, beautiful iceberg on the top, and then all of a sudden you flip the camera, it's like trauma dump, right? And when we hear trauma dump, we're like, oh, I don't want to take up somebody's time. I don't want to take up space. That's a huge one.
Yep.
You don't want to take up the space, but yet that's who you are.
Still feeling unworthy.
Yeah.
That's another unworthiness conversation. Oh, I'm not enough. I'd rather you guys stop talking to me and move on to something else because I still feel unworthy. You're up to big things with your project that you're coming up to. Have you gotten a chance to like really explore and tell everybody about the project?
I haven't gotten the chance to tell everybody about it because it's in the groundworks, but I have gotten to get some heavy work done with my mom and seeing this vision enroll like through her, like to see her spark come back. Like it felt like I've never seen this in my mom. I might get a little emotional. I didn't know what she ever wanted in life.
Wow.
Because she was always closed off, and it was always just like, take care of me, take care. If y'all didn't know, my mom is a single mom, and my mom was very fortunate to have a village of aunts, uncles, family, friends raise me, and she never gave herself anything in the past, and she played the selfish game and the small ball game too, and she showed me to do that, right? And this is where we get to create the generational healing, because in doing this work with my mom and seeing who she truly is, now I know who my mom really is and what she wants to do with her life. I had no idea she wrote poems from the age of 6. She wants to write a book with all her
She probably
poems.
has a whole book already. She probably got sequels and trilogies already.
I know, right? And I was like, man, and that's where I got the reading from, was my mom, right? And she also wants to open up a yarn store that affiliates with the Parent Project, where she'll have workshops for mothers and their kids to learn how to crochet and knit.
Did you know that about her?
No idea, no idea. Or like what opened up for her mom, for my Yaya, right? So like the way the household is like, you know, Yaya's more like my mom figure, and then my mom's more like my older sister figure. And when I asked Yaya, write me down 10 things that you want. The first thing that she wrote, right, is I want to open up the Bible for myself. My Yaya wrote that. Just to let y'all know, my Yaya is the biggest representative of faith in our entire family. Like
And she's even wanting to get closer.
She's the one that sends passages to everybody every single morning. She has She has like 14 prayer groups that she sends. 14 prayer groups.
That's powerful.
14 prayer groups that she sends a leadership prayer to all of those power groups, and she publishes them on Facebook to spread love, to spread joy, to spread happiness, to spread faith.
That's so
and
good.
she goes, I don't open the Bible for myself. Wow. And it hit hard because I was like, out of everybody.
Because she's giving, she's pouring out.
Give, right? Roll.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, you ever like pray for yourself? She goes, I thought I did before, but I never have.
Wow.
What?
Where do you think that comes from? Because that's something you and I both will pour into other people, but don't really want people to pour into us.
I think it's our environment where we're raised, right? Like my dad, right? He's my step grandpa, but my dad, Chris, you talk to him and he'll go, I do everything, Pop. I got it. It's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I do. And it's what I do game is what hurts him. Because I asked him, when was the last thing you did something for Chris? Not for Dad, for Chris.
Do you know?
And he was just like, I don't know, Pop. And then I asked him the question, well, then what are you pretending not to know? Because whenever we say, I don't know, we know exactly what's behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to pretend like I don't. I want to hide it. I'm afraid to look.
Yeah. And he started tearing up on me. And I was like, I've never seen my dad in this vulnerable state with a conversation with me. Like, the last time that I've seen my dad cry, he was talking about his father and how his father, you know, like hurt him because his father died at a younger age due to alcoholism. And my dad had to play the fatherly role for his siblings. And I was like, Pop, you think reaching out for a hand and looking up to people for father figures even more is where you get to go for you? And then he goes, yeah, Pop, I mean, he made me, like, I'm turning red right now thinking about it. But he told me, he was like, Pop, you're a better man than I'll ever be.
Wow.
My hero said that.
How did that feel for you when you heard him say that?
I didn't want to accept it at first. The old nerd came out. I was like, no, there's no way. But then I thought about it. I was like, I get to be that change in our family. Yeah, I get to be there for him. And like, it goes back to the work that you started. Like, you caused this chain reaction.
Unbeknownst, I didn't know.
No. You
You're
caused
like,
this giant chain reaction of generational healing that starts in my family. Yeah.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening up and going for it.
Oh, dude, that's what life's about now, right? From now on, that's what life's about. I hope somebody out there is listening to this and goes, man, I get to show up now.
Yeah, I get to. It's not a chore. Because I said this the other day, chores are still choices.
They are. Like,
so if I show up in my health, if I show up in my relationships, As a have to, oh, I have to. You don't have to, it's a choice.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't do it, there's a consequence to the choice, but you chose, and that's okay. Yeah, do or don't, choose powerfully. I told my students one day, we were coming back from the library or whatever, and I saw there's some portables, and these students were leaving somebody's portable. I couldn't tell who. It's probably better that I didn't know.
Yeah.
But they were leaving, and they just felt, their look was dejected. Their look was sad. The look was frumpy and cold and ugh. And I stopped my students and I said, I want you to look at their faces, because we were further enough away they couldn't hear us. I said, look at their faces. I never want you to leave my classroom that way. We're gonna have some tough times in this class. I'm going to go for it. And I don't get any pleasure from making you cry or making you sad, making you upset or whatever. I don't get any pleasure. I don't go home saying, yeah, that was really good. But I'm willing to be whoever I need to be for you to get your breakthrough. But I don't want you to leave that way, because that reeks of defeat. It reeks of it. And they said, okay. I said, okay, we're gonna go all the way this semester, but we're at choice.
Yeah.
And that was before I had even done that. So I hadn't even thought about any of these things, but I knew at the time, I don't want that. I knew what I didn't want. And it's been a cool journey ever since, yeah.
It has. I mean, it's been a phenomenal journey.
Are you gonna come back and coach for Undefeated Speaker?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually, you even asked me to create content too. So like, I think me being a part of it as well and getting footage, like we're able to get the entire ideas together.
This guy's amazing. Can I do a plug for you?
Okay.
This guy, your ability to create, to see in real time, and you make it look easy. I've never seen you get frustrated, even when you show the behind the scenes or whatever, or even these last couple of days, you're like, oh, you're very optimistic, high energy, enthusiastic, and visionary. You
know, if you're somebody out there that's like me, right? Like I didn't go to school for this.
You just got it.
I just got it. I got a sponsor that wanted me to create content, and I was like, well, like what's showing up 100% in that, right? What does that look like? And it's making the time to invest in the right equipment and trying to chat GPT and YouTube University.
And tell a story. You're great at telling a story.
I mean, that's
like with the military thing that you did?
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was fire.
And the videos behind it, yeah, that was really cool.
That was from a video game, by the way.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was from a video game, and I just took like certain sections of the cinematic. I think it was a Call of Duty game.
Okay.
Yeah.
That shows me I didn't even know where it was from.
But like, it was historical because like I already saw the trailer, and I was like, I know how I can reiterate this for the assignment. And then I know how I can like baffle the classroom with it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough, because I mean, if you're somebody out there with a creative mind that you feel like you've been sitting back, right? Like this is where you get to go. You can reach out to me at any time. Hands down, I didn't know I had this skill or talent.
Yeah, you got it. You've got it.
It's wild.
You're like, I'll just do this on my phone real fast. And I saw something on my phone. Dude, I was like, what?
I was editing off of my phone.
Yeah.
Like, and now that I look at it, I'm like, there's so many people out there that have this talent, that have creativity, and they become the consumer instead of the producer.
It's possible. To me, it's the word possibility comes up. When I know that something's possible, I'm more like, I don't play the lottery because I don't think that it's possible for me to win. But if I knew it was possible, I might.
That's valid, because I feel like the lottery, something that everybody needs to learn is that there's a difference between creating debt
here it comes.
and creating opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like lottery there's definitely a creating debt, conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, wow, you could have done the lottery, you could go create something that people can enroll into, that people can change their lives with. You know what I mean?
As opposed to a nothingness. Like
Yeah.
I gave my $10, $5, whatever, and then I got nothing out of it versus what if I would have given that $5? Well, I guess it's a game. It's a game to play.
It's transactional.
If I give $5 to this thing and I get zero out of it, I lost. Or if I give $5 to somebody who needed some food. In that moment, what has more value?
The person that needed the food.
Yeah. But they're saying, well, if I win this, I'll win $700 million and I can give, but you wouldn't even give $5. If I wouldn't give $5, would I have actually given some of my $700 million?
How many people's lives are you going to pass up making an impact on?
I mean, for $5, you could probably do some cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a story of like a homeless man where I think he started off with like $2. And that $2 turned into 10, and that 10 turned into 50, and then 200, and then he was able to get a job.
He just kept flipping it. Wow.
And it was like, you can literally start from nothing and turn it into something. One of my best friends, he came from a very poor town in Mexico.
Okay.
Right? And he was a father figure for me. And I remember him telling me his story and how they came here into the States and they had nothing. You know, he literally went from having nothing to being one of the most successful guys in his industry.
From hard work, tenacity.
Hard work, tenacity, and I mean just this unapologetic drive to create opportunity. And now he's created this beautiful family structure, right? And that's a true hero right there. He could have easily, let the chip on his shoulder get in the way and play the full game.
Yeah.
But,
Well, they should have. That wasn't fair for me when I was growing up because
yeah, he could have easily played the victim card. Played small, but he played big. And he played with a full heart. And I'll always look up to him. Drinking amino acids. Yeah.
This is good, man. Thank you for having me on this.
Hey, thank you for having me.
What else did you want to ask me? I don't know how much time we have.
Let's conclude with if I was somebody you didn't know, right? Mm-hmm. And you wanted to enroll them into your vision of what James Harris Jr. is and gets to be, right? I would say like the ways of being you get to be and the impact you get to leave on the world. What would that look like?
My vision is a world where people know the value of their voice and they know the value of their story. That really, my vision is worthiness. That people know that I'm worth it. That all the things that happened to me actually happened for me. That none of the dad walking away, the mom doing this, the single parent this, the people abuse, the divorce, the setbacks, that doesn't actually diminish my value. How powerful for a whole world to know that they are loved, chosen, and worthy. And because of that, I use my voice to empower other people who don't know it yet. That's why I think public speaking is the way. The way through is the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Every time people avoid it, this is actually the thing that's going to get me there. To speak up, to say something of value, or to listen, to share my story, share my grandparents' story. And not a story of excuse, but a story of experience, a story of restoration and healing and joy. And hey, this is what happened, but this is how we made it happen. That I'm not forgotten, that I'm not alone. And I would tell you, if I didn't know you, mm-hmm. I would tell you that you are loved and that you are worthy. That if you can't see it, I see you as powerful, authentic, unstoppable. I see you as a person that is called to make a difference in the lives of others. And the same love that you give to others, you get to give it to yourself. That's what I would tell you. You are also worthy.
James Harris Jr., everybody.
Thank you for having me.
The Undefeated Speaker.
Thank you for having me, brother. I love you, man.
Love you too, man. We'll catch you on the next episode of Get to Know.